This is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be but me, your me, Louie Tee? Welcome to lockdown coverage week number 13 in the National Football League. New England Patriots at the crib taking on the Los Angeles Rams. One man looking for his first NFL career victory, the other looking for his 201st, which would be an NFL record for most wins by an NFL starting quarterback. That's the stark contrast between the two teams in this game. Patriots looking for greatness, always on a quest for greatness. Meanwhile, the Rams just looking to become relevant. This was a snoozer of a ball game, which most games involving the Los Angeles Rams usually are, but we will break it down nonetheless. A lot to talk about with both teams from this game, and we'll do that here in a second. But first, if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and beyond. Look, we're changing the game over here. Want you to be a part of it. Subscribe to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube. Also, I'm on Twitter at In The Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. And I'm also on Facebook. In The Lab Room is the Facebook page. Go ahead, give me that thumbs up and a like on Facebook. So go ahead. Follow me on all of those different social media platforms. All of them are in the screen, up above, in the center console, scrolling across so you can't miss them. Go ahead, handle that business, take care of those things. Let's break this game down. Patriots and Rams. Let's start with the Patriots in this game. Obviously, the headline story leaving this game is Tom Brady and his 201st NFL career victory, the most of any starting quarterback in this league. Well deserved. He's the model of consistency that I think every football team and player, if you're at the quarterback position, is looking to uphold. The Patriots organization is everything that every organization strives to be. Now, again, I don't think everyone follows their practices and believes in their methods, but they get results, and that's the bottom line. The reason they've been able to get the results that they have gotten over the last decade plus, you could argue, is the man under center that we're praising because of his 201st win, Tom Brady. Without him, there's probably no Bill Belichick, and there's probably no 4 Super Bowls in New England right now. So Tom Brady continuing to build his legacy. And the crazy thing is he's still got at least 2, 3, maybe even 4 good seasons left in him. That total is going to be put so high that I don't know if there's going to be another quarterback that will even come close to that record when he is done. And the way they've won over the years, I just don't see anybody being able to get close to Brady by the time he decides he cannot do it any longer. But let's talk about this game specifically. Let's go more with the micro approach here and then kind of pick apart this win. A couple of takeaways from me from this game. LeGarrette Blount, man, is he good when he's with the Patriots or what? It seems like when he goes elsewhere, he's not the same guy. The level of focus isn't there. But when he comes to New England, he is a top-notch running back for them and what they do. That 4th and 1 run early in the game for a touchdown was huge. His running is huge for them, especially late in the season. Once it starts to get a little chilly, it becomes harder to tackle him. LeGarrette Blount becomes a bigger part of their offense. And they ran the football a ton today. No Gronk, remember. And I've got some questions about this offense that we're going to voice a little bit later on in this breakdown. But for them to be successful, they're going to have to run it. They ran it a ton in this game. Brady, even though he threw it about 30 some odd times in this game, the running game was very prevalent in this game. And they've got 3 backs now. One that they're going to want to give the football to on most occasions in Blount, but you also have James White, a guy you could throw it to out of the backfield as well as hand it off to. And then Dion Lewis, obviously the wild card there, just getting back from injury. If he can stay healthy, he's very dynamic out of the backfield, but we've yet to really see it. And again, you can't expect a guy to just come back from major knee surgery and just burst onto the scene and be what he was once before the injury. So it's going to take some time for Dion Lewis to get back to being Dion Lewis, and we'll see if he's able to help them come postseason time and even down the stretch of this regular season. A lot still on the line for the New England Patriots, as right now they're in a battle for the number 1 seed. They're going to win the AFC East as they normally do. They've now got a 3-game cushion, so the little bit of a threat that the Dolphins seem to be posing as of last week is now dead, as they were destroyed in Baltimore and the Patriots got done versus the Rams. So now there's a 3-game cushion with 4 left. No way the Dolphins are going to make up that kind of ground with this little games left. So that's been put to rest. But looking at this particular game, the defense was hitting. I thought the defense was extremely physical. They forced a ton of drops, a ton of incompletions. They got after Jared Goff. Again, this is not a good Rams football team. This is not a good Rams offensive line. So you don't want to go overboard with what you saw. But what I will say is you have to build confidence with a unit that hasn't been that great this season in the Patriots. So getting a win like this, and you hate the fact that they gave up the late touchdown. It would have been even better if they could have come away saying we didn't give up anything but 3 points in this game. They give up the deep ball to Kenny Brett late and then the touchdown a couple plays later to give them an opportunity to get a touchdown on the board. But make no mistake about it, the defense I thought was very physical. They were aggressive. They got after Jared Goff. They got after these Ram receivers, intimidated them, hit them a ton in this game. No Tavon Austin makes it so much easier to defend the Los Angeles Rams, and he didn't play, so that made it that much easier for them to take care of business on that side of the football. But I want to concentrate more on the offensive side of the football because for me, despite the defense needing to step up come postseason time, this team is predicated off of Brady getting the job done offensively. And with no Gronk, his job has become exponentially harder. So now I want to talk about this offense for a second, because I look at this offense and we're going to find out, and this is the beauty of the scheduling for the Patriots this season. We're going to find out a lot about this Patriots offense the next 4 weeks to finish up this season, because they're going to be tested with no Gronk. And now with Edelman being the lone soldier out there along with Malcolm Mitchell, and you still really don't know what you're going to get out of Mitchell from week to week. I think he's a guy that I really like, and I like what he's done over the last couple of weeks. I thought he had his best game of his career against the Jets. I thought he was okay in this game. I didn't think he was great. Didn't need to be, though. They ran it a ton. Edelman did a lot of the heavy lifting. So, but we're going to find out, because I think Edelman is your lone soldier right now, because remember, Amendola hurt himself, and the Patriots already come out and said, look, we're not going to push him back. We need him ready for the postseason, especially knowing that they don't have Gronk now. They're going to need him to step up. Then, of course, you got Bennett, and I think they need to find better ways to integrate him in the offense. All these little short passes that they're throwing to him, it's not utilizing his strength, which is stretching the field and being a big target over the middle of the field. They need to find ways to get Bennett more involved in this offense, more creative ways. But that being said, we're going to find out how good this offense is and how are they going to use the weapons that they do have left. And what is this team going to be identity-wise moving forward? Are you going to be a run-dominant team with Blunt and company? Are you going to spread it around with Brady in the short passing game? It's going to be a little bit of both. Or are you going to just say, to hell with the run game, we're going to let Brady rip it 50 times like they've done in the past when they didn't love their running game? What's going to be the identity of this team? We're going to find out. And, you know, the beauty of the Patriots is usually week to week, they change up their identity. They're scheme specific to one team, and that team alone. They're playing a team that can't stop the run, so we're going to pound it 47 times with Blunt and company. Oh, we're playing a team that can't stop the pass. Well, Brady's going to throw it 52 times this week. That's been the beauty of what they've been able to do. But you got the Ravens coming up next week, the Broncos after that, the Jets, a team that you annually struggle with and have struggled with already this season. And then you got the Dolphins, who you always lose to in week 17 in Miami to finish up this season. All good defensive football teams in their own right. This is going to test this Patriots offense. I want to see what they're going to do offensively against these teams and how they're going to attack, because to me, in this game versus the Rams, I didn't walk away impressed with what I saw. You got a one big run from Blunt for a touchdown. You get a turnover by Goff in which his tight end Lance Kendricks should have caught the football, and a great play by Malcolm Butler to pick it off and give them great field position. A couple plays later, you're in the end zone with Chris Hogan, and that's it. No more touchdowns, all field goals, 4 to be exact, for Stephen Gostkowski, who needed to make his field goals because he's been struggling this season. And that's it, 26 points in a game where I thought you could have easily put up, 34, 40 on a team that you normally probably would have put up 40 in the past. 26 is all you could have mustered in this game, and that leads me to believe that there's a little bit of struggle without Gronk. We're going to find out just how good offensively this team is moving forward. These final 4 games of the season are going to tell me a lot as to what to expect from the Patriots come postseason time when it starts to really get tough. These are all tough defenses they're going to see the final 4 games of the season. Let's see how they handle these defenses each and every individual week. As far as the Rams go in this game, it is what it is. They've been a hard watch all season long. The news of Fisher and GM Les Snead getting extensions, it's what you've come to expect from dysfunctional organizations. A lot of what they do doesn't make much sense. And the rationale behind the deal right now is supposed to be continuity. We want to establish continuity. We got Jared Goff here. We want to keep the coaching staff intact. We don't want to be flip-flopping back and forth. We want this kid to be insulated and protected by knowing that he's going to have the same group of coaches and guys around him and give him the infrastructure he needs to succeed. We're speaking of Jared Goff here, which is all fine and dandy. But what happens when you establish a little bit of consistency, but it's bad consistency? That's a problem. You're looking to establish something positive, not negative. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that with this staff and in this organization the way that it's set up right now. It's not a well-ran organization, even though some of the things you can argue aren't their fault. You draft Greg Robinson with the 2nd overall pick. You expect him to be good. He's not. What do? Your offensive line, it's in shambles right now. There's some question marks as to why this team is struggling. You thought Todd Gurley was going to be able to help you make this transition from rookie quarterback seamless because he was going to be able to carry the load. Well, he can't. This offensive line isn't good enough. So he doesn't have any space. So now your quarterback is out there slinging it around, taking shots. He got beat up in this game to Jared Goff. And so there's a number of questions, not enough answers right now in Los Angeles. But again, that's what you've come to expect. If you look at the teams that are routinely bad, that struggle year in, year out, and you'll find common denominators with all of them, and it starts at the top. And for some, it's a lot worse because the talent, the lack of it trickles down because of the poor execution up top. And for others, there's actually talent on the football field, but then the coaching staff seems to be that buffer between success and the actual talent on the field. So in this particular case, that may in fact be the case with Jeff Fisher, who I think is not a very good head coach. But again, obviously they like the direction they're going in. Cool. Knock yourself out. If you enjoy being 4-8, think it's a cool thing to do. And you like, oh, we're not going 7-9. We're not an F and 7-9 team. Cool. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, you're right. You're not 7-9. Like I said earlier, you're not 7-9. You're a 5-11 team. You're a 6-10 team. So you're right. You're not 7-9. That's not good enough. You're worse than that. And I said that after you got blanked in the opening game of the season, and then you tried to psych up your fan base by winning a few games in a row after that. And we see where that has gotten you now. So this is a really, really questionable decision but they've already made this. Adam Schefter came out and said this about 2 months ago, that they were working on an extension for Jeff Fisher and Les Snead. They got it. So it shouldn't have come as a surprise to you guys out there. But I think just because of the lack of success, you were expecting this team to make a change, and it's not what's going on here. They're going in the same direction. It may be the wrong direction, but they're going to keep going 110 miles an hour in that direction. And I said this earlier about another team. The good news is, man, you came a long way. The bad news is, man, you went the wrong way. And this could be a simple case of that. A wise man once told me that it's good to come a long way, but only if you're going in the right direction. And I don't know if the Rams are going in the right direction or not. We're going to find out. But much like Carson Wentz in year one, hard to really evaluate what you have at the quarterback position. And, of course, with Goff, the sample size is so small, at least with Wentz. You've seen him every game this season that the Eagles have played. With Goff, he's just getting in. This was his 3rd start. So it's no way you can evaluate what this guy is as an NFL quarterback. But the fact of the matter is there's not enough talent around him. Point blank, end of discussion. There's a big gap in the talent on the offensive side of the football for the Rams and the rest of the league, or at least the teams that are any good. The Rams aren't even close. They are light years away talent-wise at the receiver position, offensive line. And so because of that, they're going to struggle. Jared Goff is going to struggle. He got punished in this game. He was hit consistently in this game. That's not good for his psyche. So I understand why they didn't play him sooner. Bottom line is they're going to have to make some changes and make them quickly so that he doesn't get killed the remainder of this season, so that he's upright come the start of next season and you're not having to deal with any kind of rehab in the offseason instead of this guy getting into his playbook and becoming more familiar with what targets he does have. Hopefully he gets upgrades there next year, but we'll see what happens with this Rams organization. But another lackluster performance from the Rams as they continue to struggle to score this season. If not for the deep ball to Britt at the end of the game and then the subsequent touchdown 2 plays later, this would have been another game in which the Rams scored less than 10 points. They've had a couple of those this season already. They've actually been victorious in a couple of those games, but this wasn't going to be one of them. But they got lucky in this game and got a touchdown late. Blown coverage by the Patriots allowed them to get into the end zone. So 26-10 is your final score. Patriots go to 10-2, still fighting with the Oakland Raiders for the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. Both teams at 10-2 right now. Going to be interesting. Like I said, I named the final 4 remaining games for the Patriots. I am fascinated as to what the Patriots will do offensively without Gronk. It changes the entire complexity of their offense. And are they going to morph into a run-dominant team? I saw a lot of handoffs this past weekend. 18 for Blunt, and I think they spread a couple more around to some of the other backs. Brady still threw it a ton of times, but I just want to see how they're going to attack these teams. Ravens next. Broncos after that. Jets after that. Finish up in Miami where they consistently year in and year out, annually struggle. And Brady usually gets banged around in that final game versus the Dolphins. So we're going to see what happens to finish out this season for the New England Patriots. I am fascinated as to see how they transform this offense with no Gronk and how they do things. And again, now no Edelman. So now a different wrinkle has been added to the mix. I want to see how they kind of figure these things out on the fly. They got Tom Brady, so they should be able to figure it out. And again, congratulations to Tom Brady for becoming the winningest starting quarterback in NFL history with his 201st victory. Again, Patriots get it done 26-10 over the Rams, go to 10-2 on the season. Rams drop to 4-8. And wouldn't be shocked if they don't win another game, but they got some more games in the division. They'll probably sneak one of those teams within the division. We'll see what happens, but long way to go for the Los Angeles Rams. That is for certain. Let's get to some of these comments in the comment section. Captain Spartan 04 says, with Fisher getting an extension, does that mean my Steelers can't get Chuck Cecil, currently Rams secondary coach, as their secondary coach? They could if they wanted to. If the Rams don't want him to leave, then no. They don't have to allow him to interview for a lateral position. The only way that a team is guaranteed to get an interview is if that coach wants to leave and it is a position that allows them to elevate their status within the ranks of the coaching, or elevate themselves in the coaching ranks. If it's a lateral move, then the team actually has the discretion to say, nope, you can't have my coach. So it's up to the Rams as to whether they allow him. And again, I know you want Chuck Cecil, but do the Pittsburgh Steelers actually fancy Chuck Cecil? I know he's a family member, so obviously that could be something that intrigues them. But are they that interested like you are? I don't know. But the Rams don't have to give you permission if you're not elevating him to, say, defensive coordinator. If he's just being a positional coach, then they don't have to give you permission to be able to talk to him. Why do I feel like the Patriots aren't Super Bowl contenders? They're just flexing their muscle. As soon as someone stands up, they'll collapse. I feel the same way for some reason. And I think it's because this defense isn't great, and now they don't have Gronk. And we've seen this team in the past without Gronk. Now, granted, it's a little different now. I believe in Malcolm Mitchell, and they have Bennett now, which they didn't have in the past. They didn't have another option that scared you at tight end. They still do have another guy there, believe it or not. But I feel the same way, too. I got an eerie feeling that the Patriots aren't Super Bowl bound this season. It just feels that way. I may be underestimating them, but that's why these last 4 games of the season are huge for me, because it's going to really tell the story as to what I can expect from them come postseason time, because every defense in the AFC is going to be tough. Even the Raiders do a little something defensively. They're not great, but they can score a ton of points. So we'll see what happens with the Patriots down the stretch. Mo Hunnit says, what are the Rams smoking for keeping Fisher? And can they pass it over here? It got to be crazy. Look, that's just the way they operate, man. And look, we knew they were going to give Fisher and Les Snead the extension. They had already talked about it. This isn't a surprise. It's just one of those head scratchers, like, why? But they gave us the reasoning and the rationale behind it, continuity. They want to keep these pieces together, and they want to give Jared Goff the best chance to succeed. And the way to do that is with consistency and continuity, starting at the top with the coaching staff. And so that's what they're doing. Captain Spartan 04 says, please don't say my man Jamon Brown is doing bad. He went to my high school, Fern Creek High School, at hashtag FC Proud, and he's the only NFL player we've produced. He's not doing terrible, but he's not great. They're struggling on that offensive line, period. Not much is being done in the way of good things for the Rams up front, which is why Todd Gurley has had an insufferable season this year behind that really porous offensive line. Mo Hunnit says, get Goff some help, man. It's hard to watch. It is, man. It's like Medusa out there. It's rough on the young fella. This is part of the reason why they didn't want to put him in, but at some point you got to take the training wheels off and say, all right, go out there, get you some experience, because you can practice all you want, but there's nothing like the real thing, nothing like real NFL players flying around you, complex coverages being thrown at you in different looks. You can't simulate that in practice. You can only get that in game. And then put that on tape and allow him to watch it over the summer and over the spring and get better. And so that's why these games are important. So even though they're not very talented and they're not going to be able to do much, at least he's putting some tape out there for himself and the staff to evaluate to help him become a much better football player. Mo Hunnit also says there might be another Kansas City situation with the Pats possible in the play. I'm going to tell you right now, the Chiefs are ready. Remember, the Chiefs gave those boys all they could stand last year, and I think that the Patriots of last year were better than the Patriots of this season. So I think the Chiefs, if they get another crack at them, and look, the Chiefs aren't out of the mix as far as the number one overall seed in the AFC. If the Chiefs somehow, some way get their hands on that number one seed, to me, they become public enemy number one in the AFC, straight up, because they're that good. They play defense, they play special teams, and offensively, they're not going to make a ton of mistakes. And they got dynamic players now offensively, so they're a team to watch out for. And I've said that time and time again. Captain Spartan 04 says, Johnny Hecker, MVP, most valuable punter this season. No doubt, he is. And it's funny, everyone I talk to, the first person they bring up when they talk about the Rams is Johnny Hecker, which is crazy. Because we're talking about, it's the same thing with the Ravens. When you talk about them, you talk about Justin Tucker as a field goal kicker. Well, I'm more inclined to give credit to a field goal kicker than I am a punter, even though punters do help the outcome, control the outcome of a game. If they're punting well, they can pin a team, flip field position, all that good stuff, which is what Hecker does well. But field goal kickers actually put points on the scoreboard, and they can take them off. So there's an immediate impact there, whereas with punters, it's more of a residual impact. You still need to rely on, the defense to come out and make that punt, worth, wild. Because if they give up 4 first downs and allow the other team to flip the field position back, then that punt, which was great, ultimately is canceled out by the inability of the defense to get a stop or to stop them deep in the territory and allow that field position battle to be won. So, in any event, Johnny Hecker is definitely viewed as one of the best punters in the league. I think him and Pat McAfee are the best 2 punters in the league right now, and Hecker getting a lot of love around the league, that's for sure. So, in any event, that's going to do it for Patriots and Rams. Patriots get the win, go to 10-2 on the season. Got 4 huge matchups coming that I'm really anxious to see from this Patriots team with the injury to Amendola and Gronk. Want to see how they kind of figure out and configure this offense moving forward. They've always been good at shape-shifting and kind of conforming to whatever it is they need to do to win. We'll see if they do that well down the stretch. Brady gets his 201st win, NFL record for most by an NFL starting quarterback. Congratulations again to him. And I think that record is more indicative of what this organization has been. Not just Tom Brady, but this entire New England Patriots organization and what they've been and the model of consistency they've been over the last decade plus. And for the Rams, they're 4-8. Jeff Fisher and Les Snead get an extension before the game. Woohoo, good for them. This organization is lost right now. But again, we'll see if it works out for the best. Maybe they know something that we don't. Okay? It's been proven that when you switch head coaches and you switch coordinators, it makes it tough on a young quarterback. That's been proven. That is a fact. But you also don't want to put a quarterback in a situation where he's setting himself up and the organization is setting him up for failure. And that may be the case for Fisher and Snead sticking around, because not as much Snead as it is Fisher. If Fisher isn't good and he ultimately isn't the guy, and you figure that out 2 more years down the road, you're still going to be changing coaches, and Jared Goff is still going to have a new coach anyway. Why not do it while he's a rookie and say, hey, we're going to start you over fresh, blank slate. Let's see if we can't get a guy in here that can work with you over the offseason and see if we can't get you rolling. But you want to keep him in the same system. Go right ahead. Let's see what you got. Good luck. You're going to need it, Rams. You're going to need it. It's going to do it for me here on Lockdown Coverage. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie Tee Network on Lockdown Coverage. Rams drop to 4-8. Patriots go to 10-2 on the season with the win 26-10 over the Los Angeles Rams. We're changing the game one live feed at a time. I got some more breakdowns coming your way, including Raiders at home in the Bills in a wild one. Can't wait to watch this one and figure out what the hell actually happened in this game. Raiders were down 24-9. I blinked twice, looked up. They were up 38-24. That is why they're 10-2 right now, and seemingly the prohibitive favorites to win the AFC West. So check that one out. I'll be back to break it down in a little while. I'll see you then. Have a good one. Take care.